when MiG-29s ambushed Eagles. We're back again with another Yarn Hub video. And considering the F-15 and the MiG-29 are both some of my favorite jets, this should be fucking fun. So let's hop straight in.
It's morning on January 19th, 1991, and a pair of F-15C Eagles are on an escort mission over Iraq as part of Operation Desert Storm.
Ooh,
Captain
so that's what when this
Rico
is.
Rodriguez and his wingman, Captain Craig Mole Underhill, are clearing the skies ahead of a formation of 36 aircraft tasked with striking targets near Baghdad.
F-16s.
Behind them, there are waves of F-16s making their runs, diving with 2,000-pound general-purpose bombs.
God, I
They
fucking
release
love
them,
F-16s
and the
too.
ordnance drops straight onto the Iraqi ammunition depots. Giant explosions rise from the desert. They're expecting anti-aircraft missiles, and the F-16s pull hard up, releasing chaff and flares at the same time. But instead of missiles, the Iraqi Air Force has dispatched two pairs of the most advanced fighters at their disposal, MiG-29.
Which, at this point, if I'm not mistaken, is very, I'm trying to think of the word, not as advanced as the US planes, weirdly enough, but not bad whatsoever, you know? But I will say this, still really fucking good planes. Still really like it. Also, Yarn Hub, please, I don't know what I will do for you. I would love to see you do the video of, what is it, when the F-16, like, defeated, a bunch of anti-air missiles during, in Iraq, I want to say. Because they, like, ran out of flares and chaff or whatever, so they were fucking diving and dodging missiles coming at them. I think that'd be dope.
Outnumbered, the Iraqis have been keeping their distance, searching for an opportunity to strike, when they're told of two F-15s. Perfect targets. It's their chance, and the pair of fulcrums races to intercept.
Well, they're basically they're the opposites of each other.
From his AWACS controller, Mark White.
Rico, you have two hostile contacts.
One bearing 040 for 35, second is 340 for 65.
Roger, we'll take the 040.
Rico
God, this is even getting better.
Target, and they turn to engage.
I will say this, Yarn Hub, y'all are doing great. You're doing even better. I think, me personally, you've even improved from when I first originally started watching, which is super cool.
The F-15's front-facing radars detect the contact, and it appears on their screen.
Contact.
But it's not the only warning. On another screen, a 29 appears. It's his radar warning receiver, or RWR, a device that tells him when enemy radars can spot him.
I'm being painted. MiG-29.
Yep, and from what, if I remember correctly, how it works is basically each radar usually gives off a specific way it does it. So if it's still if you can basically have it programmed to get whatever radar is, whatever plane that radar belongs to, like whatever model, it'll paint it, hence the 29. But there's some where RWRs are not able to pick up certain frequencies, so that's a thing. And also, like, certain planes, like, I forget what it is. Is it the Harrier and the F-18, maybe? Something along those lines. Some planes share radars, but it's usually painted as whichever one came first, I think. It'll show up as that. So, like, it could show F-18, but it'll be a different plane with the same radar.
I see it.
Rico
I think
and Mole
anyway.
brace for action. The two pairs of enemies, both fourth-generation fighters, have each other in their sights and are heading towards each other in a supersonic joust. Rico selects an AIM-7 Sparrow missile, but the Iraqis have a plan. They dive far below the F-15s, attempting to use the ground clutter to conceal themselves from the radar.
Smart.
But it doesn't work. Aboard his F-15, Rico sees the single fuzzy contact split into two well-defined targets.
I gotcha. It's 2 versus 2.
Rico selects one of the contacts. And
Oh,
locks
but
it
where's
in.
the other?
Aboard the Fulcrum, the pilot sees his radar warning receiver light up with the wail of a lock alert. But the Iraqis have
That'd be
yet
fucking
another
scary.
ace up their sleeve. They bank to the side, and suddenly, the warning.
Yep, they're notching it.
Rico's finger hovers over the weapon's release button when the radar contacts suddenly vanish from his screen.
I lost it.
It's a blind spot in the F-15's radar. Objects moving perpendicular to them are invisible.
That's a lot of radars though. It's not It's not just the F-15. At least I don't think so. Pretty sure that's most, if not all, most radars. I won't go all. Most radars. It's called notching. It's where you're moving perpendicular to it, so you can't really. It doesn't pick it up.
And the MiG-29s
I believe so
are
anyway.
exploiting it perfectly. Rico's frustrated.
'Cause you can do it to the MiG
but it's
too.
a known tactic. The enemy reappears on radar 12 nautical miles away.
Contact.
He locks it in one more time, but doesn't fire. The AIM-7 Sparrow needs him to maintain lock throughout the missile's entire flight, and he knows the enemy are going to re-enter the blind spot before
So
the missile
Fox
has a chance
2?
to catch them.
Not Fox 3.
Once again, the enemy disappears.
Fox 3 has its own radar.
The MiG-29s keep maneuvering across the sky.
I believe so.
Toying with the F-15's radar,
Contact.
constantly blinking in and out from Rico's screen, keeping 12 nautical miles of separation.
Lost it again.
Rico can see what they're doing. The Fulcrums are dragging them along. Over at the AWACS, Mark White keeps an eye on the situation. As the F-15s make their move, they leave the airspace that Mark's responsible for, and following protocol, he hands over Rico and Mole to another AWACS controller. Rico and Mole keep up the chase across the sky when suddenly their RWR beeps with alarm and starts filling with detections up ahead.
Oh shit.
It's an entire field of S-125 Neva surface-to-air missiles set up to defend Baghdad.
Yep, that would be, and that's a real fucking pucker moment. I mean, good news for me. I already more or less know how this goes. I don't know this exact story, but I do know how this story goes because I know the history of the F-15. And if you've seen my other F-15 videos that I've watched before, I'm sure you know how this goes as well. Or just know much about the F-15. Like the biggest... If you know the biggest story about the F-15, or the saying about it, then you probably know how this goes.
The enemy's trying to pull them into a killing field.
Smart.
Dragging us into the city's anti-air. What are we gonna do?
Break off.
Rico checks in with the strike force and listens to the F-16s making their runs. If he and his wingman fly away, then the F-16s will be definitely intercepted by the MiGs.
Oh, no, so
He
the
makes a daring
F-16s are
choice.
making,
Keep pushing the bandits away until the strikes are done.
okay.
Get out of here.
They hold their altitude and deliberately continue heading towards the enemy trap, buying the strike force the time it needs. The RWR clicks every time the enemy radars scan the F-15s, and they hear them getting more frequent by the second. But the Iraqis still have a cunning plan.
Yeah, there's
They
two
know
other
the
men.
Americans
There's
can
two
see
other
the
29s.
missiles.
Where are they?
They're not the trap. They're the distraction.
Yeah, there's two other
A
29s.
third MiG-29 charges towards the F-15s from their left side,
There it is.
out of view from the F-15's front-facing radar, and with its own radar turned off so as not to appear in the F-15's RWR. Despite the fight
Fucking
no
smart.
longer in his area of responsibility, in his AWACS, Mark White continues to take glances at the developing situation. He sees the new enemy approaching the scene and immediately realizes the danger. But for some reason, the F-15s are not evading the incoming contact. They keep flying straight, even as the bandit gets within 18 nautical miles. White gets nervous. It's
So, yet again, from what I'm seeing, well, not yet again. It's, I say yet again because I was saying it in my head for quite a bit. AWACS, the unsung fucking heroes of this bullshit. Hats off to you, Mark, for keeping an eye
well
on that
within the
shit.
range of the R-27 missiles. 16 miles and there's still no reaction from the F-15s. He thinks about saying something on the radio, but he worries that if he disturbs them in the middle of battle, it could make the situation worse. 15 miles and still no reaction.
Nope, say something, Mark.
14 miles.
Say something, Mark.
White decides to act.
Pop up. Contacts. 330 degrees for 13 miles.
It's right in the nick of time. Rico hears the call and instantly drops his fuel tanks and pulls hard towards the new contact.
Oh, that fucking screech! Also, I love it how they always hide like, comment, subscribe in their, I love it how they add that in for their, somewhere in the shot that's, like, dynamic and shit. That's super fucking cool.
Vapor covering his wings. The moment his nose points towards the incoming fulcrum, it appears on his radar.
Bogey.
Just 8 miles away, well inside the range of each other's missiles.
Who gets lock and fires first?
At the same time, the Iraqi pilot, flying blind without his radar, is informed the Americans are right in front of him. He turns on his radar, and Rico appears on his screen. With this act, the ominous 29 appears on Rico's RWR. The two cutting-edge fighters are now aware of one another and are approaching at supersonic speeds. Rico selects the target on his display and locks it in, but he doesn't fire. The rules of engagement are that all contacts detected within 10 miles must be identified visually in case it's a friendly F-117 Nighthawk. Even with the 29 on the RWR and the image...
Really? Like... okay, I guess.
Rico holds fire and orders Mole to run friend or foe ID on the contact. But there's no time. The Iraqi selects Rico's aircraft and locks him. Rico's RWR screams with a lock alert.
Fire.
I'm getting spiked.
He immediately turns upside down and dives, releasing radar reflective chaff.
Yo, that's such a cool fucking detail. They animated. They didn't need to because they wouldn't. No one would have fucking noticed this. Watch the air intakes.
Upside down and dives, releasing
They
radar
fold down
reflective
for.
chaff.
That's so cool.
Will confuse his targeting system.
But it doesn't work. The RWR continues.
That's
screaming
so
in his
fucking
ear,
cool.
warning him.
They
of
didn't have to
impending doom as he
animate that.
races
That's
down
such a
from
small little
30,000
detail.
feet at the speed of sound. Rico whips his head left and right, desperate to spot the enemy. Mole locks the target, his finger hovering over the weapon's release button as he runs an ID procedure with the help of intelligence aircraft. The seconds feel eternal as they finally clear him to engage. He's given the all clear and presses the button.
Fox 1.
The AIM-7 Sparrow shoots off.
It's Fox 2, isn't it? I don't think that's Fox 1. Fox 1's, I think, are heat seekers.
The sky, the smoke trail passing between his tails. He follows the smoke trail with his eyes and finally sees the MiG-29 aiming his nose down towards him. But it never gets to fire. The Sparrow rushes in and strikes it square on the nose. There's a giant flash and the MiG-29 disintegrates, tearing
I kind of want to know why the MiG didn't fire.
apart into a black smudge of oil and parts.
Splash 1.
A wave of relief washes over Rico as he pulls out from the dive at just 500 feet high. But over at the
God, he
AWAC,
is
White can
directly
see
on the fucking deck.
It's not over.
Second group, north, 10 miles.
Rico scans the skies. He
I love how
considers
Mike
turning
is still
away.
working this, even
By
though he
now,
shouldn't be,
the strike
technically.
package of F-16s is already heading home, so they've no reason to hang about. But the enemy is too close for comfort. They could be shot from behind. They need to fight. Rico turns north, and the enemy appears on his screen. It's just beyond 10 miles, so he's clear to shoot it down. He runs
Oh,
an
lucky.
identification procedure. It's hostile. He selects the contact on his radar screen and locks the target. In the enemy plane, the Iraqi hears the lock alert, and he breaks into a sharp, evasive maneuver. But it makes no difference. Rico's lock holds strong as his finger hovers over the button.
He lights up as a diamond on my scope. Say again? It goes from a solid radar contact to a diamond, which tells me he's friendly.
Mole systems have identified the contact as a friendly aircraft. In
Oh,
that
shit.
moment, Mole is overtaken by a cold sense of dread. But Rico's confident it has to be another MiG. But he needs to prove it with his eyes.
Yeah. At that point, you don't want to be court-martialed or anything like that if it does end up being a fucking friendly. That'd be... that's
The
strange.
two prepare for the fight. Rico elects to identify the target, and Mole gets ready to take the shot. Rico races towards the enemy, which is coming straight towards and above him. He keeps low, letting the bogey get closer. Then he pulls up. Engines burning at full throttle. He can see the belly of the
sexy.
bogey right in front of him, but it's still hard to tell what it is with the bright sky as background. He holds his F-15 in his path until Rico's F-15 roars within 50 feet of the bandit.
Jesus!
And as he does, he finally gets a good view of the enemy's top side, with its green camouflage, which is proudly displaying the Iraqi flag.
It's a MiG-29!
Rico makes a wide turn left as he soars over the MiG. Looking down through his canopy, he sees the MiG performing a flat turn left, holding his altitude. In that instant, he spots an opening, and the fancy shooter eye formation goes out the window. It's a dogfight. He turns upside down and pulls hard on the stick.
Damn, a
cutting
fucking
into the MiG's
dogfight in
side.
modern age? That's
He's
fucking
crushed by
crazy.
10 Gs of force, pushing the F-15 to its limits. He sees the MiG roar past in front of him, and he pulls hard left to follow. Rico sees the MiG flying away, but he knows he has the advantage. The MiG pushes down, trading altitude for speed.
Like, I'm trying to think. I think the MiG can outmaneuver in a turn fight. I think the MiG has the edge on it.
Follows him
on the
spiraling
F-15.
down towards the desert floor as the paths of both jets converge. Rico sees a MiG scream through the merge. He's getting closer. He pulls hard, feeling the blood rushing down from his head. As he
Yeah, I
does
could have sworn that
everything
the
to
fucking
bring the
MiG
fulcrum into his sights.
I thought MiGs had better turn rates.
Far above, Mole can
I could
see
be
his
fucking
leader
wrong, though.
tangling
I'm
with
sure
the
y'all will
enemy
let me know.
and spots an opportunity.
I can come in. Stand by.
But Rico can feel it. This one is his. He sees the MiG coming back, and they roar past one another. He almost has him, but they can't keep up.
I got it. Is that real
as
footage?
They're rapidly running out of altitude.
It may be or may
Rico
not be. I
pulls
can't
with all
fucking
he
tell.
has, powering through 10 Gs of force. Through the crushing Gs, he sees the beautiful sight of the fulcrum moving into his sights. Rico selects an AIM-9 Sidewinder and starts to pull, aiming ahead of the MiG for the best chance of impact. But the Iraqi pilot sees it, and a desperate last-ditch attempt, he turns upside down and pulls hard towards the ground. Rico's ready for the Iraqi to try something.
Oh, that's
But
ballsy.
he's shocked to see the MiG dive straight for the sand. He doesn't even think of following and pulls up to the left, letting the MiG go. The Iraqi pilot starts to pull up and is crushed by extreme G-forces as his plane continues towards the ground. The sand fills his windshield as he pushes the afterburners to maximum. His MiG screaming as it pulls beyond its G limits. He's doing everything to bring the nose up, but it's not enough.
Oof.
And the MiG-29 Fulcrum.
Dude, their animation has gotten so good. Like, you see it breaking apart, the engine going flying.
And the MiG-29 Fulcrum.
Like, that's...
And its Iraqi pilot crash into the desert sand. Rico's
I love
heart
their
races
animation.
as
Their
he comes
animation
down
has
to
gotten
the
so
adrenaline
fucking
high.
good.
He's won. Mole
Maneuver
appears
kill.
2 miles off his right,
Tactical, right side.
and Rico can finally afford to relax.
Let's go home.
Cesar Rico Rodriguez would tally up 3 victories total in his career, making him tied
Hey,
for
that's-
the top spot of MiG victories for pilots after Vietnam.
I was gonna say, that's, well, even then, I'm pretty sure that's most than what most pilots get. At least in the US. That's more than what most pilots get in their career. That's cool,
We
though.
hope both pilots like our film.
It was close today.
I would love to see them react to this. That would be really fucking cool.
Ate Hawks for breakfast. Watch the full film here.
Yep, I've watched it. Dude, you know how cool it would be if they got the actual people to fucking... Oh, they didn't. Yeah, this one really good. I also have a reaction to that. That's one of my top performing videos on my channel. That'd be really cool if they got the actual dude to record himself. Like, that'd be hella cool. Well, that was When MiG-29s Ambushed Eagles by Yarnhub. Big surprise. It was really fucking good. I really fucking enjoyed it. I mean, what else can you say? Make sure you check out the fucking original video. It'll be linked down below. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of me. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.